more efficient meds that are effective to what you have. So the efficacy, I think you said that. I know I can say that word, but I keep messing it up. But the efficacy of the drug is more effective, and maybe that one medicine could take the place of two medicines, so you're on less meds for you, and you have the PGX testing interpreted by somebody who knows what to do with it. It's almost like a two-step process. And then from there, you have a tool, a Swiss Army knife, a tool in your arsenal with your doctor to utilize in effective ways in the future. So when that test is done, the PGX test is done. And I know you mentioned before about the medical records systems, how they work. Let's say I live in Orlando, Florida. Let's say I move back to Rochester, New York, which is where I'm from. Does that mean my records in Orlando, Florida will always stay in Orlando, Florida, and no one will ever know about the PGX test back in Rochester if I move, or does that go with me?
Incredible question. So you can get your medical records. It's tough. And if you talk to anybody who's, that's tried to move states and get their medical records moved, it's tedious. And a lot of that stuff will come through. What one of the companies, I'll put them on the roadmap. They're called Genovation. They, in my view, have one of the best reportings, very advanced. They're very new as a company, but what they've done, which is intelligent, is they've built an app, put it on your phone. When I went into my doctor, I actually brought my phone in and I was like, "Hey, the drugs that you're recommending to me, I'm an intermediate metabolizer of. Here's the list of drugs that that are comparable that I'm a good metabolizer of. Can we pick from that list?" Yeah, but I needed something that was transportable. What's really cool also about it is like in their app, you can essentially you can go to the pharmacy and you can scan like a bottle, and it'll in real time tell you, hey, don't take that. That's not good for you. Or yeah, so it and what it can do is if they're plumbed in through XY gene is we can actually communicate that back to the doctor because when you see your doctor, you might see, on a couple of visits here and there, but what about all the time in between? Like people, I'll watch a commercial and I'll be like, wow, I really need to take this, that, or the other thing, or oh, GLP-1s or something I can go ahead and, utilize. But I had no indication. My doctor might not even know that I've used that kind of stuff. So the goal ultimately is to gain a communication channel, including the patient. But what you were asking about the transferability, is a really big problem. And so if you take the PGX example and you just apply that to all of genomics, XY gene, what we said was, look, we know that round trip with all those players need to be involved. And so as opposed to it just being an A to B relationship, I'm going to give an alphabet relationship relevant to getting the information back to the doctor. So if a doctor is able to order a PGX test, now they're going to say, well, great. I'm already going to get it to the right lab. I'm going to get it with the right report. I'm going to get it interpreted already. And then it's coming back to you in a way that's digestible. Because right now, a PGX report back to a doctor might be 56 pages. They don't have time for that. There's going to be stuff that they have to scrub. And this is across the board. Doctors have to look at PDFs all the time and they can skim it usually at best just because of time. But I'm just going to say, doc, what are you looking for? And then I'm going to float that information. They can look at the whole PDF if they want to, but I'm going to just give them the digestible information to make a relevant, competent decision quickly, which is what we all want. So that way, I've given them the good science. They didn't have to be an expert. I brought all that into the piping, and now it's coming back to the doctor as something that's usable.